Yes, yes, yes. It's the Raphie Dawkins with the Combat Radio. And today we've got something kind of special. Something kind of special for you. Special guest in the area. Some of you may not have believed, some of you may not have seen the flyers yet. Some of you may not have seen the thumbnail, but yeah, it's the guy that everybody's talking about. It's the guy that from east, west, north, and south. Everybody wants to know what's going on. What's going on? What's going on in Dillian White's camp? Where's Mark Tibbs? Who's the new guy? What is going on? People are demanding answers. You know, over here at Raphie Dawkins Combat Radio, we like to provide the answers. You've got the questions. We hope to provide the answers. And I'm still waiting for my notification to tell me that we are live. Okay. I'm on my mobile device. I see people populating the area. Somebody write something in the area. Somebody write something in the comment section. Let me know, confirm to me, assure me that we are indeed live. And while you're doing that, first things first, let me do a sound check. Somebody. Okay, we are good and we are live. And okay, let me give you some FaceTime. Okay, there you have it. There you have the FaceTime. Somebody write something in the chat. Let me know that you're hearing us loud and clear. Okay, but anyway, while you're doing that, let me allow me to tell you who the guest is. The guest is a man from, as a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat. Why don't I bring in none other than Xavier Miller. Xavier Miller up in the building, up in the place. Raphie Dawkins Combat Radio. They said it could never be done. They said you can't do it, Raphie. They said you can't do it, Raphie. You can't do it. You're not going to get him. You're just writing it in. You're not going to get him, Raphie. You're not going to get him. But Xavier Miller, please confirm. Please confirm your name. Who is Xavier Miller? Who is he?
Yes, Raphie.
That's what everybody's saying.
No problem. Yeah, good to talk to you, man. You know, it's hot out here. It's lovely out here, out in Portugal. You're in training camp for Dillian White v. Povetkin, and we're just working hard. And you know, those in the boxing industry know who I am. You know, I'm all the guys in the British Boxing Board know me very well because I've had so many pros, and obviously my affiliation with my good friend Don Charles. So yeah, really, I mean, like I said the other day in an interview, everybody has a story, and you know, this is mine.
100%. So there's no ambiguity. We have him here, Xavier Miller. Everybody's talking. Everybody's asking questions. Everybody wants to know, how did this thing come about? Let's start from the beginning. How'd you meet Dillian? First of all, thanks for coming over. Thanks for taking time out of your day. It's a beautiful sunny day over in Portugal. Likewise over here in the UK. It's awesome to have you. Awesome that you would take time out of your day. So, tell us about how the genesis, how the link came about.
Well, I met Dillian about 2-3 years ago at a press conference. To be honest with you, I was with EJ. So. But Dillian White actually brought Dillian to my gym about maybe a year ago, just over a year ago. So that's how I actually met Dillian officially. Awesome.
And how did the the training relationship materialize? How did that come to fruition?
Yeah, Dillian's the kind of guy that he just wants to train, he just wants to box. So he came down with this stuff. We did a little bit of work together, and then a couple of days later, he was back in my gym doing some more work. And that's really how it all started. That's how the relationship started.
So the relationship started. So you start training together. Everyone wants to know you start training together, and clearly there must have been some. There must have been something what made him stay with you, made him keep in contact with you. There must have been something.
It reminded me very much of when I first met Don, and Don saw me training guys in his gym. He just said to me, "Listen, you just said you're one of the best guys I've seen. Just keep doing what you're doing." Dillian, he just liked the things that I was showing him. It kind of at times just seemed to remind him of stuff that he used to do before. When you don't do certain things for a long time, you kind of forget. And a coach's job with a fighter of that kind of experience is just to remind you of certain things. I mean, Dillian can already fight. He's already proven. You're not starting from scratch. You're not changing anything, to be honest with you. You're just reminding him of the things that he's good at, and obviously the things that he needs to work on. Spend a bit more time on that, and that's basically what all coaches do. So.
That's what all coaches do. So we're going through the timeline now. We're going through a timeline. Dillian starts working with you, and just take us along that journey, that timeline.
Okay. Well, Dillian works out of different gyms. Obviously with Mark. And then Mark used to sometimes come down to my gym, or we used to sometimes go down to the Monster gym. And we just work with Dillian. Some days I'd work with Dillian, some days it'd be Mark. We work in when Dillian was sparring. Me and Mark are both there. I had a really, really good. The relationship was good with Mark. It was just respectful. I don't know Mark like that. It's like we hadn't been around each other for long, but we were both professionals, and that's what I liked about Mark. We just come in. I was like, "What you doing with him today?" He said, "Yeah, that's what I'm doing." Okay, cool, no problem. And then sometimes I just watch what Mark was doing, just so I could get an idea of how Dillian was working. Because what you don't want to do when you come into a camp is disrupt the camp and then start doing a lot of different things that causes problems. So right. I was spending a lot of time watching what Mark was doing with Dillian, so we could kind of share the workload. That to me was always the idea. I spent a long time building iqboxing with my business partner Nicholas Prempe, and that's my main focus was to get these guys prepared for titles. Getting them to understand the business, getting them on a lot of shows, getting them on big shows here and there. We were building, and I wanted to be, as well as working with a well-established fighter, I want to be known for building fighters. Someone took the time to build me, so I've taken the time to build the boxers that I've got. And honestly, the relationship the work was good. We ended up going out to Saudi. He got very, very late notice for that fight. Maybe only got about 2.5, 3 weeks. So
Saudi Arabia, Diriyah, to fight Marius Wack.
Wack, yeah. So that's obviously why he was, career heaviest. So he wasn't in the greatest shape. But again, he won 9 of the 10 rounds. Just goes to show how good the guy actually is. Because a lot of guys come in shape and they all, the wheels come off and it's again, got problems. But Dillian, professional. Went in there, done his job. There was a couple of things that he wanted, he was working on, and it's just like that fight. It is what it is. We didn't really dig too much into it, and then obviously we had a fight date, and then that got moved due to COVID. So we just continued to be professional and use the time wisely. If something doesn't go your way, you don't get to fight the date you expect to fight. Okay, what are you going to do? We'll pack up and go home? No, we're in the gym. Keep working. Keep working the things we've been working on, and just get better. So I didn't mind the fact that I was out here with Dillian for the majority of the time because we just kept working. I wanted to get him in good shape, so when Mark does come, he's got a fighter that's in a good place. I didn't want you know, I hate training camps where the whole camp is about losing weight. You know, I have this argument in my gym all the time. You know, you come to, if you know you've got a fight coming, you know, come to my gym in shape, you know, so we can work on technical stuff. It's not, I'm not a weight loss coach. You know, that's for you to come into my gym in shape so I can get you, you know, start working on technique, start working on sparring and so on and so forth. So that's where we were, you know, and the date kept changing. So obviously, you know, I think that's where there's a few issues here and there. I think it was May 4th first, and it was maybe going to be in June, then July. You know, we finally got a date now, and just everyone just be positive and just know we've got a job to do.
Yes, absolutely. And so I've seen some of your Instagram clips. Seen some of your Instagram clips. I've seen you with I don't know what those things are called in Saudi in the ring, and Dillian, you got the I don't know, those kettles. I don't know what they call them. Those like pins, and Dillian's warming up. You're warming up Dillian over there in Saudi. And now I'm going to go on a slight tangent before I come back. Talk to me about the experience in Saudi. Talk to me about being in Saudi for the Daria card, Anthony Joshua, Andreas Ruiz.
Yeah. Yeah, you know something. When you've been around boxing for so long, it's like everybody knows everyone. You know, I got a late call from Dillian saying, you know, I need you out in Saudi. You know, for this fight, I want you to be in the corner with Mark. So I just packed up my stuff. It was good timing because we'd finished. All my fighters had finished. You know, they all had their fights coming towards the end of the year. So I went out there. I think we were there about a week before the fight, and you know, just did a bit of shaking off, bit of training. Matchroom had a really good setup at the hotel, and you're just bumping into everybody. I bumped into, you know, you're walking past Andrew Ruiz, you know, Tom that was out there. You know, all the guys that were on the card. Basically, everybody's staying in the same hotel. So you know, you're bypassing everybody in the industry. You know, you've got the president of WBC, the IBO, and whoever. Everybody's downstairs in the lobby. Everybody's just to get this together, you know. It was good to catch up with the guys that obviously I see over here, like Pro Bs and Raps on TV and stuff like that. And, you know, obviously the IFL guys, like everybody's there. You know, I'm there with John Harding Jr. as well, Magic. Yeah, we're just out there and doing what we're doing every day. You know, everyone's down there. We're all having breakfast. Like everybody just seems to be together, all separate tables, obviously. But, you know, it's just a community and a culture. You know, obviously fight time is fight time, but you know, it just goes to show you that, you know, really the boxing community is very small, and you know, it just takes one rumor to get out there and it just spreads like wildfire. So, you know, it was a good experience. You know, I think they paid a lot of attention to detail. It was, you know, the way they looked after everybody out there was on another level. You know, the food was great. The people were great. You know, it was just a good environment. And then when we went out to, I think when we went to the weigh-in, then you got to see, you know, exactly what the stadium was like, what they'd built. God knows how much money was pumped into that. I don't know. But again, really well set up, really well organized. Everything just seemed to be as it should be. You know, Eddie's very good at his job. I mean, I think everybody can agree that, you know, Matchroom is, you know, great company. You know, in regards to boxing, you know, their shows are, you know, quality. And yeah, they went out there and they did the same job that they do over here. So yeah, the experience was really good.
Awesome. So you got the win over there. You get the win, and then you come back over to the UK. Well, that was last year. That was last December. Last December.
Yeah.
Okay. So you come back, and that takes us into January, and then you get. Then this was the fight that was proposed, the Povetkin fight, and this should have happened originally. When was that? Should have been in April, maybe. Originally,
I can't even remember.
Can't even remember.
Yeah, it just so much things happened since then. Like it's just it might have been around March, April.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know definitely May 4th was a date. That's why we all packed up. That's why we all packed up and got ready to go out in March.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
we
yeah.
were all out here. We were all out here preparing for that date.
Mm,
But then that didn't happen for obvious reasons. But
yeah.
yeah, like I said, we just kept training.
Just kept training. Just kept training. So that kind of brings us up to date. You're out there. You're out there now in Portugal. And the delays, one delay after another, after another, after another. And that kind of brings us to here, or end of last week. Brings us to the end of last week. Dillian Whyte makes an announcement which surprises, I can't say everybody because you guys are in camp, but surprises everybody outside of camp. And that's caused a ripple effect. And naturally, people are questioning, people are curious. What's going on? What the hell happened to make such a big change? Because a change of trainer is a big change.
Yes, it is.
Somebody at Dillian Whyte's level, number one in the WBC, arguably number one across the board, really. I mean, you know, in terms of what he's done and what he's achieved and what he continues to do. Such a high caliber fighter. Can't say we've never seen it done before. We've seen Tyson Fury do it. We've seen Tyson Fury do it just recently. But every time it happens, everybody stands back. Wow, what the hell happened? So, Xavier Miller, I have to ask you the question that everybody else is asking. What the hell happened?
As it's a shock to everybody out there, as it is to me. I did not see it coming. Like I said in the previous interview, you know, the way the boxing culture works is a head trainer, you know, commits to a training camp, then commits to corner work night of the fight. Everybody's training camps are different lengths. Some are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 weeks. All depends on the boxer. Some guys need more time. Some guys already come in reasonable shape, so they just need a 10-week training camp. Because I've been here since March and we've just been working, you know, I knew the date was quite far away. So it never entered my mind that there was ever going to be an issue. Mark's a head coach. He's a professional. He's been doing this a long, long time. When Mark comes, he'll come at the right time to get Dillian ready for his fight. You know, a lot of times out of camp, you know, boxers are expected and should stay in the gym. They shouldn't need a coach to motivate. They should be doing what they for a long time. No one tells you to go for runs. No one tells you to do bag work. You know, I was not told these things. You know, I did these things because I wanted to perform at my best. I didn't like going to the gym, and I didn't like losing any sparring session. So I always made sure I was fit. At this level, that's what boxers should do. They're responsible for that. You know, coach is responsible for getting you through a training camp and getting you ready for a fight. Obviously, you want your coach to always be around. A lot of times, it doesn't always work. You've got coaches who've got a number of different fighters. So, you know, they've got to, you know, give a certain amount of time to one guy, then they'll see another period. So it's not really abnormal to me. So I'm just doing my work. As I say, like, as a guy who knows in my gym, I'm a loner, to be honest with you. I spend like most of my day sitting there watching boxing or listening to music, or I come in the gym myself and do a little bit of work. When guys are having discussions about, you know, things like gossip and, you know, what's happening here or there, you don't find Xavier Miller around. As soon as those conversations start coming up, normally I'll walk out. I just don't want to be involved in it. You know, I don't like getting involved in gym confrontations. You know, just to me, nothing positive comes out of it. So if I'd heard anything like that, then, you know, maybe I would have talked to somebody that I need to talk to. But nothing like that was ever happening. You know, I mean, Ruben's over here. Tavares obviously used to train Hay. We're all working, does his strength in the morning, we got our boxing, and we're just getting on with it. We're just being professionals. So I'll be honest with you, as you heard, I heard. You know, that's just the way it is. And even if I had heard something, it would have never come from me. I'd probably, in a camp, I'd probably be the last person to know about those sort of things because of the kind of individual that I am. You know, as I said, I I don't do chatty patties. I don't like chatty patties either. You know, guys are just keep talking about stuff. You know, like gossiping. You know, what's going on here, what's going on there, and you don't even actually know what's going on, but you've got an opinion about it. I don't have time for that. You know, unless I've got facts, concrete facts, then I'll talk about it. You know, obviously Dillian's made a decision, so now obviously it's a topic I can talk about. You won't catch me doing that before. I had guys, you know, texting me, asking me to do interviews about what's happening, blah blah blah. I just obviously ignored all of it. I said I was only going to do one interview, but that was to talk about myself and talk about my company, my business partner, and my story in boxing. But as again, you listen to the interview, there's no gossip. It's just not me.
100%, 100%. So effectively, you were as surprised as everyone else.
Yeah, as everybody else, you know. Because remember, I've come out here to assist Mark, you know, and obviously I'm being mindful that I've left my whole gym behind. I've left all my fighters behind. The only one that's come out here with me is Yusuf Kamari, he paid his own flight. You know, he's looked after himself out here. And Dillian's obviously taken a liking to him. You know, thankfully Dillian signed him. You know, I wanted Dillian to sign him because I like that Dillian's active in boxing and he's got a good business head because you know, he manages other fighters. So I said to Yusuf, if you're going to go with anybody, I think this would be a good look. I mean, I did have interest out other than Dillian, but Dillian was always going to be my first choice with Yusuf, and they get on really well. So again, it's just it's working.
Awesome. I've just had a question in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Is this pre-recorded or live? Well, I'll tell you what
live.
time. I'll tell you what time it is over here in the UK. It is 14:47. And so for those at the back of the class, that means that it is approximately 12 minutes to 3 p.m. on a Sunday. What's the date?
Yep.
The 12th of July. It can't get no more liver than this, my friend. It don't get no more liver than this.
Same time zone over here, so it's live. We're live together. Same time.
Live. And as a matter of fact, if you want to know if it's live, put a question in the chat. I mean, you're here regularly enough. You know how it works. Put a question in the chat and you'll see if it's live or not. Okay. And let me quickly go to, what is this? It was getting pushed back, so it must be live. You know that Raphie only goes live when everything is fully corpusette. You know that already.
Mm-hmm.
You know that already. Okay. So it's live, folks. Get your questions in. Don't be afraid to ask a question. If it's a good one, I might ask it. Okay, so we're here now. Mark has gone. You're professionals. You conduct yourself.
And just quickly, to be honest with you, I have to give a lot of respect to Mark. Mark's done a fantastic job with Dillian. You know, they've been consistent. They've been a good team. So, like I said, me personally, I never had no problem with Mark. I thought Mark's a really, really good coach, experienced. You know, obviously his dad has been in boxing for years. So, you know, I respect every coach. Just like boxers always say, that what they should say, I respect all fighters. I respect all coaches, but I know the time we put in. So I don't have anything negative to say about any coaches. If they've got anything negative to say about me, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But yeah, you know, Mark's he's been a good guy. But sorry, go back to your question.
No, not at all. So you speak highly of Mark Tibbs. You speak highly of Mark Tibbs. He's done a damn good job. We all see that. Yeah. You acknowledge that. We recognize that. But there's a tendency, perhaps, in people to. Well, I think it's a fair question. I'm gonna have to ask the question because people are asking it out there. I am a voice. I'm the voice. I'm here to ask the questions that people are asking. So the obvious question is, well, why? Why change something that's work? That's what they say. If it ain't broken, why fix it? Why fix it? That's what they're asking.
Yeah, I can only be consistent and straightforward. That is honestly Dillian Whyte and Mark Tibbs' business.
Right.
Respectfully, it's their business. And if the two of them ever want to talk about it, that'll be up to them. But it will never come from me. It will never come from me. If you're gonna be a professional in this business, you have to conduct yourself in a professional way. And again, you shouldn't be talking about other people's business. It wouldn't be fair or right for me to do that. It'd be wrong, and I would feel a way if someone did that to me. You know, that's their story. That's for them to come out and talk about when they're ready. Only thing I will say is, this is boxing. These things happen all the time. You know, boxing's about being able to adapt. You know, fighters change trainers. Throughout history, they've always done it. They've always done it. Whether it's coming off of a win, coming off of a loss, a draw, whatever the reasons, they're personal. It's always happened in boxing. This Dillian's decision, he's made it. Everybody has to respect it because it's his career. At the end of the day, whatever happens going forward, you know, it's his decision. And I think respectfully, that's what everyone should do, really, just respect the fact that he's made a decision that he's wanted to make about his career. You know, everyone needs to focus more on their own lives and their own decisions they need to make for their own lives. That's what he's done. This is where we are. The best thing to do is to talk about going forward. You know, what is happening next. That's all we can do.
100%. I think the key terms there, the key sentence there was that you don't know. You don't know. Only Dillian Whyte and Mark Tibbs know. No, they're the two parties concerned. So only they really know what the scoop is. Only they know. Only they know. So anything else?
Yeah, I'm not part of a triangle. I'm not part of any WhatsApp groups or anything like that. So it's not a 3 or 4 or 5-way conversation. It's between them. So yeah, that's why I stay in my lane. I've always stayed in my lane.
100%. Only speak of that which you know. Okay, absolutely. So that's great. That's great. That's awesome. And so that takes us to why Xavier Miller? Why Xavier Miller? Why is Xavier Miller the man that Dillian Whyte chose? Tell us. We need to know. We need to know. The people need to know. They demand to know.
Well, there's a couple of factors. One is I have not been given that role or responsibility yet. Officially, no one's come and said to me, right, that's your role. So again, because I don't know, I'm not speaking on it. If it happens, fantastic, great. You know, I want to help Dillian as much as I can. You know, but at the moment, we don't know what's going to happen. Boxing's a funny old game. You know, you put somebody puts something out today, then tomorrow, something completely different. So when they come to me and say to me, right, Zav, this is what's going to happen, no problem. If it does happen, more than ready, always have been more than ready. You know, I'll be happy to do it. If it doesn't happen, no problem. Another experience. Not the first I've been involved in big fights, been in quite a few big fights. And my journey and my story will just continue. You know, I'm just happy to be one of those people in this world that are doing something that they love. A lot of people wish they could just do every day, do something that they love. Not everyone's blessed to be in that position. I'm one of those people who is, and I'm just very grateful for it.
100%, 100%. Play your role. You're playing your role. You have a role, and you're fulfilling your role. And when notified that there's been a change, then obviously that's a conversation you will have, and that's, you know, you'll enter into those negotiations if and when that time comes. But as for now, you're doing what you've always done in the camp until notified otherwise. So it can't be.
For now, we're in training camp, and I'm the boxing coach. So yes, people can say, yeah, at the moment, Zav is the person who is in charge of Dillian's training camp leading up to the Povetkin fight. They can't say anything more than that at this point. They can just speculate, they can conversate. That's fine. Don't mind. You know, we just have to see what happens.
Wait and see what happens. I guess your role now is just to play your role. Just keep doing what you do.
As you said earlier, and obviously that's probably the most important thing that people have to bear in mind, is that Dillian Whyte is now in a very, very, very strong position. His next fight after this one could well be for a world title, which means that this fight is the most important fight of his career. That when it comes down to it, and it's all said and done, it's down to Dillian. He worked this hard to get here. I'm a hard person. When it comes to boxing, I'm a very hard person. I just say it how it is. He wants it bad enough. He needs to beat Povetkin. It's simple as that. There's no excuses. We just got to get in there and do a job. We need to do a job on him. And the most important thing is win first, look good second. You get the W, you get the big fight. You don't, you go back down, you got to work your way up again. So that's why I say this fight to me is the most important fight of his career. Not just because of his position where he is right now, but because of who Povetkin is and what he's done. I mean, I think it's just the 2 losses that he's had against Klitschko and Joshua. Well, they're world champions.
Yeah.
So that's the caliber. So Dillian's got a hard fight ahead of him. Povetkin, even if you are getting the better of him, you have to really, really put an absolute beating on him to get him to move. He's a unit. He's stubborn. He's so experienced that he's used to fighting tired, which I've always said is one of the most important things for any fighter. Learn to fight tired. Take yourself there. Know what it feels like. He knows what it feels like. His last fight, he's an older fighter, but the second half of the fight, he was doing quite well against Hunter, which shows me he has something left. They wrote off Mosley before he fought Margarita. I always say these older guys have been in boxing for a long time. A lot of them have got a good performance left in them. It's your responsibility as the fresher, younger fighter to put doubts in their head as soon as possible, and remind them of where they are in their career. And that's what Dillian's focus should be. All the other stuff that people are talking about, who's this person coming in, that person coming in, focus on the guy that's in front of you. That's my advice. When that bell rings, it's just you and that fighter. If it is me that's going to be in the corner, all the boxers that I've got, all the time I've spent in boxing, they know what I'm like in the corner. It's a routine. It's no different. It's the same. I'm very good at reading my opponent. I've always had good guys in the corner with me, just to, keep an eye on certain things and make sure in the corner, they go to the routine. Every boxer's different. Some guys like to, be refreshed in different ways. There's some boxers like to be spoken to throughout the time they're sitting down. Some guys don't. Some guys you can give a lot of instructions to. Some guys you give very minimal. You have to know your boxer, and so that's that will be my role if that's going to be a role. And Dillian's role is to go out there during those rounds and do the job.
Okay. It's fun and games over here as well as the serious stuff over here, and and someone has just come up with the joke of the day thus far.
Yeah, definitely.
Xavier.
Yeah.
Xavier.
I wish down the line I was related to Bill Miller. That'd be a good. That'd be a good story. That'd be an interesting story.
Okay,
yeah.
Xavier Miller. The question has been asked: are you in any way related to Big?
I can see it on the screen.
Are you related to Big? You have to ask, because if you don't answer, they're gonna say, "Oh, he ducked the question. He ducked the question."
Nah, the response is, "I'm the real Miller. I'm the real Miller." Yeah, simple.
I don't know who asked that question, but that was a corker. That was funny as hell. Okay, so I think we're saying no to that one. We're saying no to that one. Okay, so fun and games as well as the serious stuff. That's good. Okay, so the answer is no. Okay, so you touched on a good point, because I think I did a live show yesterday, and it was back and forth, and a notion was raised, a notion I in no way subscribe to. And the notion was, hold on a second. Dillian Whyte's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing the other, he's taking the WBC to court, he's changing his trainer. How much is he focused on the Povetkin fight? I have to ask you. It's been the question was posed to me, and I'm acting as a voice here, so I have to ask you the question that was posed to me. How focused can Dillian White be when he's doing this, taking the W, doing that? Yep. What's the answer to that question? How focused is he?
He is focused 100%. Dillian likes to have fun and games sometimes on Insta. Dillian's a funny person, but training camp boxing, this guy is very, very serious. He's one of the most serious individuals. I'm talking in terms of talking about boxing. His knowledge is there, you know, and he just wants to win, man. He's just determined, you know, determined to prove, you know, he wants to be a world champion. He knows how important this fight is. Obviously, there's other things going on outside, but he's got a team that deals with those things. As I said before, I don't know if it's me as a person or a character, but people don't talk about those kind of things around me. You know, in the gym, I'm no nonsense, and if I do hear it, I'll say, "Listen, we got to get with this." I'm just not a fan of that kind of culture. If you want to go and have this conversation in your own space, the comfort of your own four walls, then go and do it. But in front of me, no, that won't happen. But I've never had. Dillian is someone who I don't have to motivate the guy to do nothing. You know, he wants to push. I mean, he wants to break records. You know, he wants to do better. You know, so his focus is always there. I think what people maybe forget is that when you're at that level, I think all these guys, they deal with multiple issues anyway. You know, when you get to that level, you know, you do have to deal with lawyers, you know, you do have to deal with governing bodies, you have to deal with this, deal with that. Dillian does manage fighters. So, you know, you learn to multitask, and he's very, very good at it. But when it comes to boxing, Dillian's career, the guy's very, very serious. There is no reason for anybody to doubt his commitment to this fight or any other fight. You know, he takes his fights very, very serious. And as I said, the only reason why, you know, he was overweight for the last fight is because you had 2.5, 3 weeks notice. For a heavyweight, you know, it's you know, you need time. Well, for every boxer, sorry, you need time. But, you know, but again, it was more important for him to get out and be active. And you see, again, he's made the right decision. He keeps fighting good guys, you know, so he's getting himself prepared for a world title. You know, he keeps doing it back to back to back. You know, he went out, got a good 10 rounds under his belt. You know, of course, that's going to put him in good stead for his next fight. That means that, because if he hadn't had that fight, how long he'd be out the ring for? So, don't question, you know, no one needs to question this guy's commitment. I mean, I've been around Dillian it's not like I've just met Dillian. I've been around Dillian for just over a year. So, I know him as a character, as a personality in the gym. Outside the gym, no. But in boxing, yes.
Yes. I was not from the school of thought. I don't think you get to where he's got to without being focused, and I don't think you get to where he's at right now and take your eye off the ball. No way in hell. Because to get where he's got to, that takes focus. That takes dedication. You can't get to where the man got to without focus and dedication.
And bear in mind, a couple of those fights, you know, he was supposed to be the underdog for those fights, and he still came out on top. That's why I credit Dillian and Mark. They've done a good job, and that's why, you know, life's about chapters, episodes. You know, that part of that journey, it was very good. You know, but you're on to the next now. Don't look back. You know, you've got a job at hand. You've got big fights coming. Look forward.
Look forward, 100%. But yeah, like I said, you don't get to where he's got to without being extremely focused and dedicated. Sorry, what did you say?
And determined.
Determined. I mean, he fought Joseph Parker. Look at Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker had previously fought Andy Ruiz, who ain't no mug. Andy Ruiz ain't no mug. He's fought Joseph Parker. Yeah, if Joseph Parker fought Anthony Joshua, certainly no mug. Mug. And acquitted himself rather well, you know.
Rivas again.
Oh,
he was unbeaten. He was serious threat. Dillian performed very, very well. You know, with the rematch with Chisora, and I was obviously part of the Chisora camp for that rematch. I saw how hard Derek trained. Derek trained so hard for that fight, and for Dillian to put Derek out like that, no one put Derek away like that. Nobody. You know, Hay did well against Derek, but again, you know, accumulation of punches. This is one shot. No one does that to Derek Chisora. So again, the guy's got, there's something special about Dillian. And you know, over the years, he's coming into his own, and because he's fighting good guys and willing to take the risk, it just goes to show you exactly where he wants to go with his career. Because he could have easily sat back and held a position, but he knows that, you know, if I fight those guys and get those scalps, then obviously it can improve me as a fighter. So I like his mentality. I like Dillian's mentality. You know, I'm around a lot of boxers all the time. I mean, in Don Charles' gym over the years, so many fighters have come. You know, so I've seen. I know when a guy is serious about their craft. He's serious.
I think Dillian White. He reminds me almost of you remember the film back in the Disney, Universal Soldier? You remember that film? It reminds me. I don't know if it was Dolph Lundgren or one of them. He had a neck.
Yeah.
Chain with the ears, which is effective.
I'm listening to Jay Electronica's album all the time at the moment. And he's got a track on there called Universal Soldier. You know, I'm hot on that album at the moment. It's you know, I've been waiting a long time for that to come out, but you know, there's a lot of talk about, a lot of reviews going around, but a lot of people just don't understand the kind of things that the topic that he's covering. You know, great MC. You know, we've been waiting a long time for someone to come along. You know, we've had Nas, we've had Biggie, we've had Jay. Jay Electronica is up there, but yeah, good stuff.
Well,
good stuff.
I'm stuck. My music collection is stuck in the past, but I will. But I will.
Check it. It's worth checking out.
I will give that a listen. Jay Electronica. I'm gonna even write that down. I'm with Spotify now, so I should be able to listen to that for free. Electronica. Yeah, so Dillian White is going on like a universal soldier. You can't get there. You can't get there without being some serious focus. Okay, we've covered that. All right, now let's move on. Okay, now techniques. I've been talking with some of my co-panelists over here, and so a recurring theme is the jab. Xavier Miller is not a jab guy, he's a Philly shell guy. He's a Philly shell guy. You're not gonna beat Povetkin with the Philly shell. He's a Philly shell guy, and he's not a jab guy. Hey, I just have to tell you.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I think you're the only person that's actually like put this question out there, and it's just so simple. Honestly, there will never be another James Toney. There will never be another Floyd Mayweather. Like, it makes me laugh because I had this in the amateurs, because I run my own amateur club and my boxers box different to everybody else. Like, why are people so scared of difference? The style of my boxers boxing was different to everybody else in the amateurs. What's wrong with that? It's just different. That style that we're talking about, the people are talking about now, I've been in boxing since a child. I've been coaching for years. I've coached loads of boxers. I've only ever taught 2 boxers that style. 2. One was a guy called Tarjay Williams. You know, and I started him from scratch. The reason why I taught him that style is because it suited him. It suited him. But unfortunately for him, he was amazing, but he had 2 dislocated shoulders. He had an amateur fight where he dislocated his shoulder, I think in the final of a box cup. And then he had another fight, I think it was, we went way out of London for another amateur fight, and then the other shoulder popped out. And he was in the ambulance, and he looked at me and said, Zav, I can't do this no more. Because these guys, I can beat them easy, but I'm concerned about my shoulder popping out, so I can't do what I need to do. So I left it. I said, at that point, I said, I will never teach anybody to box like that again, because it took 6-7 years of my life. It took that long. And it's only because he was gifted, really was gifted, that I taught him that. And even then, his boxing fundamentals were sound before I even got into teaching him that kind of boxing. The second person that I've ever taught that style is the super featherweight that I've got now, Yusuf Kamari. And again, I understand the sport. I've been studying boxing so long that I can tell when a fighter can fight a certain way. Yusuf, I could see he could do it. So again, I've had Yusuf for maybe 7 about 7 years. Again, it's taken that long, and he's able to fight similar in that style, but Yusuf's got his own style. He's been smart enough to do what all previous fighters have done. The likes of Floyd, the likes of Tony, all these guys, they all study guys before, before they developed and enhanced their own style. Floyd talks about watching guys like Duran, so who could, is a good pressure fighter. It's good to be able to do multiple things in the ring. You never know when you're going to need it. And Yusuf he's versatile. If he's got a good amateur, he's had 40 amateur fights. If he needs to box on the back foot and work just behind the jab, Yusuf can do that. Yusuf, if he needs to sit in the pocket with you, he can do that. Obviously he just needs a bit more experience and seasoning with good guys. So he just learns to get even better at what he's doing. But they're the only two. And that's taken 14, 15 years out of my coaching life. I will never teach anybody that style again. I'm now 47. Someone took the time to teach it to me. And there's things that my coach talked about when I was a kid that I'm still using right now. And that's how I know he was a genius. We're talking, this is like 1988, 89, the guy talked about these things. And I'm able to teach guys certain things now. This whole conversation about Xavier teaching a certain way is nonsense. I've actually run my own boxing gym. And in the amateurs, you're taught, distancing, phase attacks, and so on and so forth. So all you do is implement different styles here and there with different boxers. I don't want to be labeled to one type of style because it will be a lie. Myself, I can fight behind the shoulder. I can fight behind a high guard. I can fight southpaw. There's a lot of different things I can do. Someone like Dillian, who's been boxing as long as he has, it would be crazy for me to tell him, I think you should box like this. Like, this is what only people who don't understand boxing put out these crazy statements. Like, no one's going to be doing anything like that. If you look at Dillian's old fights, he's got a lot of old fights on YouTube. There's little elements of Dillian doing things here and there. He's quite versatile. He can block punches in different ways. He watches a lot of old guys. The likes of God, there's so many now. Pinkland Thomas. Who was I watching the other day? Tim Witherspoon. All these guys, they had all different types of defenses. And because Dillian studies these guys, obviously he adds bits and pieces of that to his game. Like, I've never come in and said, Dillian, you should box like this. There's certain things that he does in the ring, and I'm just saying to him, just making sure that he does it to the best of his ability. So there's tweaks here and there, little changes here and there. But apart from that, honestly, this conversation that's going around is laughable. And because it's not new to me, because I had to deal with this with the amateurs. Again, just like the professional boxing, the amateurs is a very small establishment. Everybody knows everyone. And when certain boxers go out from certain gyms and you see a pattern of the way guys are fighting, people like to put labels on you. But, I had all different types of fighters. Just like now, I deal with about 6 or 7 pros. Every one of them boxes different. None of them box the same. None of them do anything like the other. Kay Prosper boxes completely different to Yusuf Kamari. Adrian Redmond boxes completely different to Yasser Alguina. Dennis Wahome boxes completely different to Julio. They're all different, and Dillian's got his own style. So honestly, I'm glad you asked that question because I hope this goes out there now and people can stop. If they want to run with it, that's up to them. But again, experienced coaches don't come in and completely change fighters who have been fighting a certain way for a long time. Only a novice would do something like that.
Totally. That was my point of view. You can't just come in and change up a man's style overnight, or even takes a while to change a style. So to be categorical, let's be categorical about it. Xavier Miller is not the Philly shell guy.
No, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. And the other thing is, you've got sophisticated fighters out there, like a Tevin Farmer. He's a southpaw. The guy can, he rolls punches off his shoulders, makes it look easy. You don't need to put labels. It's just another type of defense. These guys can also box behind a high guard. I always say to guys when they say they're studying boxing, I say you're watching boxing, not studying boxing. Because if you're studying boxing, you notice that Floyd does not sit behind a shoulder. He doesn't do that. Floyd uses the ring. Floyd uses a good jab. You know, Floyd can sometimes come off a high guard like he did against Judah. These guys do different things. If you want to put labels on guys, that's up to you. But then that just goes to show me that your knowledge is limited, because then you're not watching these guys properly. You know, you have to educate yourself properly. I'm keep saying the same things to you. You're very, very good in a particular posture, but it's not going to work against every fight you get in the ring with. You'll get in the ring with a particular guy, and honestly, it will just not work. It won't work. You could have boxed 10 guys, and the 11th one will give you a problem. So you have to learn to do different things. You know, you can't afford to be stuck in one particular style because, as I said before in a previous interview, I feel that most world champions have been the guys that have been able to adapt to the situation they're in. You know, even if they've had difficulties during the fight, you know, during that might have had a bad round here or there, they were able to adapt. That's why they come out on top. And that's what I try and teach all my guys. That's what I've been spending all my time, all my years doing. And guys, I've had guys come to me through the amateurs and the pros saying, "Oh, you know, I like the way Youssef box," or you know, I heard that you teach a certain way, and I've turned them away. I've told them I'm not the guy. So I've been honest with you, I'm not the person. One, I don't have time to teach someone from scratch again anyway, and two, like, I don't want no one trying to put no labels on me. You know, there's enough videos on YouTube with my guys boxing where you'll see they don't box like that. So yeah, that narrative is just crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy narrative, labels. I hear what you're saying. I totally hear what you're saying. Okay, so we have to. Well. The next logical step is the jab. The jab. The crucial jab. First thing I want to say, and I hope this gets back to Dillian, because I've got a suspicion over here at Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. We do a series called what is it? Boxing Talk and Fight Review. Yeah, okay. Boxing Talk and Fight Review, where we look at a fight, a fight from yesteryear. Our old fights, we go back as far as we go back to the 40s. We go way back. And one of my feelings about Dillian Whyte, I don't know if it's true or not, but I've always wondered. To me, there's some semblance to Dillian Whyte's jab. There is some resemblance, in my opinion, to that of Sonny Liston's. And I don't know if he studied Sonny Liston. I always want that question answered. I want that question answered from Dillian Whyte. Does he, or did he, or is he influenced by Sonny Liston's jab? Because I could be totally wrong, but I've always wanted that question answered.
I will personally ask him that question for you when I see him next.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to see him later on today. I'll ask him that question.
I've always wanted to know the answer to that question. That's something that, and I'm only one step away because we got each other's details now. I'm only one step away. Please ask Dillian Whyte. Has he studied, and is his jab influenced by that of Sonny Liston? I've always wanted to know that question because it's a really good one of the best jabs. And I see. To me, I see Dillian really focused on perfecting the jab. If you can speak on that, I don't know. With the importance of the jab, then.
Yeah, I mean, not just Dillian. Every single one of my fighters has got a good jab. You know, so it's the first thing I teach is footwork, because I was frustrated by my coach due to the footwork, because he wouldn't let me punch. It just footwork every day. Sometimes I come with my school bag and just throw it on the floor because I knew we weren't going to do anything different with footwork again. But you know, once I started sparring, I understood it, man. It was like, you know what? It's like once your fundamental, your footwork is good, honestly, like boxing from that point forward, it's just so much more accessible. And then after that, your jab. You know, your jab is your best offense and your best defense is your jab. And that's every boxer, though. You know, I just don't want to talk about one particular boxer. Every boxer should really have a good jab. There are some sophisticated guys, like a Roy Jones, who doesn't have the jab very often, but he's a freak of nature. The guy's so fast, he can get away with it. But even then, He's been well schooled. When he needed it, and he had to box the likes of a heavyweight like Ruiz, you saw the jab. The
Yeah.
jab was what won him that fight. Ruiz, he just couldn't get past that jab. So yep, always the jab.
Always the jab. People are asking questions in the chat. They think I'm ignoring them. I am not ignoring you. I will circle back. I will circle back to those questions. Don't worry. Okay, so the jab is important to all fighters. We're not just talking about Dillian. You have a stable of fighters. You're there with IQ. IQ is a different guy. Is IQ a different guy or?
iqboxing is the company. Me and
Right.
my business partner own iqboxing, but we run iqboxing out of Neasden Boxing Club. It's a,
Right.
Neasden Boxing Club is a community centre, so we've been there maybe about 8 years.
8 years. Neasden Community Centre. Okay. Used to have an aunt back in the day. Used to live in Harlesden. Neasden. Are they close? Nowhere near.
Oh, she'll know about Kingfisher Community Centre. Then she's from Harlesden. Everyone knows about Neasden Kingfisher Community Centre. That's where the Neasden Boxing Club runs out of. So
okay. Excellente. Okay. So what have we covered? We covered a lot of stuff. What haven't we covered? I listened to another interview. I think I'm remembering the answer over there. But what is your long-term? I don't know if you was asked this question, but I'm answering this question. That's why I don't like to listen to other interviews. I don't like to be influenced, but I don't think you've been asked this question in any interview I've seen. What is the long-term goal of Xavier Miller, IQ Boxing Club? What's your long-term goal? What's your vision? What's the vision?
Yeah, I mean, I would like, in a few years for Nicholas Prempeh to take over running of the gym completely. I mean, that's what I'm prepping him for. I've been around him a long time. We spent years working together away from boxing. We worked at the same school. He's a very intelligent individual, very loyal. We've always got on really well. He's so mature. I mean, Nick is in his early 30s, I think, but he's just a very mature guy, and he just picks up everything so quickly. It's just easy for him. He's the other head coach at the gym at the moment. Because of the coaching style that I have, I don't know how much longer I'll be able to coach boxing the way I coach. I'm very hands-on. I still spar. It's very physical with me. I'm not someone who does pads every day. I don't even like pads that much. I do pads. I shouldn't say I don't like it that much. It's just that I don't believe that you should be doing pads every day. I'm just not into pads like that. I do a lot of technical work, a lot of jab sparring, sometimes body sparring. Sometimes I'll just put on gloves and I'll get in the ring with my fighter, whether it's Dillian, whoever, and we'll just go through drills, routines. But I like the realistic side of the game, which means that I have to take more punishment. Even though sometimes I do wear coach's body shield, the long-term effects of boxing is hard on everybody. It's hard on fighters. It's hard on coaches. So I would like to change my role maybe in the next 3-4 years. I think I could go at the pace I'm going at. I don't think I could do it for another maybe more than another 3 years. I know people are only hearing about me now, but I've been doing this a long time, and boxing is wear and tear on the body. I do feel it. I'm 47 now. I think maybe by 50, 51, I would like to oversee what the other coaches are doing in the gym, just watch and just give tips here and there. But the physical side of it, I would like them to take over. I'd like to be in boxing for a long time, and if you look after your body, you will do. If I keep going the way I'm going, and I don't stop at the right time, then I won't be in boxing as long as I'd like to. I'd like to be in good health. I look forward to my son doing well. He's 16 now. He desperately wants to be a pilot. So, I'd like to see those times. I'd like to see him get married. I'd like to see him have kids and have a family. So I have to think about those things. But yeah, at this moment in time, obviously, I love boxing. So glad that I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm honouring my coach who died, obviously, late 80s. It's for my family. It's for him. And I think another 3-4 years, and then I'd like to change my role. But still be obviously heavily involved, but just the physical side, I'd like to change that.
Yeah, as far as the physical side, could you not modify what you do?
Yeah, I think
physical.
yeah, I think probably by that time maybe I will be more inclined to just do pads, because I think really the pads is more wear and tear on your shoulders and your elbows. But again, it depends on the kind of pad you're doing. Again, smashing pads every day as hard as you possibly can, I don't think that's good for any coach. I think if you're doing that a couple of times a week, that's fair enough. Better if you've got a team so you could share the workload. But if a coach is doing that every day, I'd be careful, because later on down the line, you will get problems. The joints, you start rheumatism and all sorts. It's just, you have to think about these things. You have to think about your health. At the end of the day, when boxers win things, it's great. They get to take home belts. They get accolades. Coaches don't take home belts. Coaches, we're here to help others fulfill their dreams. That's what coaches do. When the guys in my gyms have actually gone on to win stuff, I'm just happy for them and happy that I've been a part of their journey. But that's the reality of it. When a coach's career is over, people just discuss and move on to the next. They don't talk about what this coach is going to do next, with the next stage of their career, or even fighters. They don't care. They just care about current, and then when the next person comes along, you're gone. So.
Yeah. But a few coaches have made it to have etched their name in the sport. Angelo Dundee, Eddie Futch,
Bill Miller
comes to mind.
Yeah, Bill Miller, Manuel Stewart.
Yeah.
Georgie Benton, one of my absolute favorites. There's just too many. There's too many. At least, and I think that's the difference between me and a lot of guys. What I did when I no longer had the opportunity to be able to box, and I was studying fighters all the time. When I knew I was going to be a coach, I was studying coaches in the corner, listening to what they're saying, educating myself. Their manner, how calm they were. When they were giving instructions. I was obsessed for a long period at just studying coaches. I've got VHS tapes of like even Shane Mosley's dad training Shane. There's some footage out there with me. I'm sometimes carrying almost like a medicine ball and walking fighters down. I got that from him. I've got so much footage. I've got Marco Antonio Barrera doing pad work. He's one of the rare people that I've actually seen where his pad work is replicated in the fight. A lot of guys, they do a lot of flash pad work, and then when they get in the fight, they're not even throwing those punches. So again, to me, that's why I say with pad work, it depends what type. If that's what you're doing, it depends what you're doing it for. A lot of guys are doing it, it's your fast twitch muscles.
Yeah.
But if you're just saying, well, you're throwing these punches because that's what you're going to throw in the fight, and then you don't do it, well, you could have spent that time doing something else, more constructive. It's not. Boxing's not just about looking good on Instagram or YouTube, throwing 150 punches, in a round. I mean, I don't have time for that kind of nonsense. Again, that's for the younger generation that go to these media workouts and want to see these guys do these things. But when you're a real coach, you study the game and study the guys that come before you. My journey is no different to anybody else's. Most guys, 90% of the guys out there, they're they were in the corner with a head coach, learning their trade. And then when it was time for them to break through, they break through. It's no different. It's the same, So again, the training techniques mine is, some will say unorthodox, but it's for me. It's totally for me.
Yes. So the coaching thing can't go on forever. So you're looking beyond that, whilst in the meantime, doing the best job that a coach can do, which is basically working with a fighter, educating a fighter, passing on what has been taught to them. And right about now, you're passing you're passing that on to a stable of fighters, a whole stable of fighters. I'm just going through your Instagram here. There's you with a bunch of guys.
That's Yusuf Kamari and Gay Prosper in the middle there.
Yeah.
Two very, very, very good fighters. Very good.
Absolutely. And scrolling down.
Yeah, the one in the middle was Yasser Aguila.
Yeah.
Funny enough, he's pictured with I don't know if you recognize him. That's Junior Saba.
Junior Saba. Yeah, which one? This guy. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Again, you see you have to know your history. You know, Junior came to my gym. I was actually getting him ready for his pro debut, and obviously there was issues with his scan, failed his scan, so he actually never got to have his pro debut. But I have to give credit to Tarjay Jai.
Yeah.
You know, because from what I saw in my gym while I was getting him ready, training him, taking him for sparring, he's been very, very well schooled. You know, I know Tunde had him from scratch. His footwork is unbelievable. His reflexes, his ring IQ, his boxing intelligence. If he had had the opportunity to box, unfortunately for him, he never. I think that's probably why me and him have become so close, because our stories are similar in some ways. But if he had the opportunity, I think right now you'd be talking about Junior Saba in the same breath as Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and those guys. He's that good. So obviously, someone's done a good job with him, and that was Tunde. So I give him respect for that. Just like Derek Dezora is still relevant now, someone had to teach him that style. That was Don Charles. So I'll give Don Charles the credit for teaching, for recognizing that was the right type of style for Derek.
Yes.
So, you know, you have boxing. You know, you have to go back and understand where a lot of guys come from. You know, they don't just appear in front of you now. It's the same with an actor. You know, a lot of actors have had big roles. They've had to play small roles throughout their career before they get their break. Boxing's the same. It's the same. It's no different.
100%. And so the reason I'm going through this is that you know, there's a history here.
Yeah, that's Dennis Wahome on the right hand side there. I've had him through the amateurs. He's now 7-0. He's just about to challenge for an English title against Liam Dillon. Just waiting for them to announce a date for that one. But again, I've had Dennis with me for years. Actually, Dennis is the only fighter I've ever had that I met through sparring. I used to coach at a club called Stonebridge Boxing Club, and an All Stars coach called Steve Palmer actually brought Dennis down to the gym. And Steve said to me, "Oh, can you move this guy around? You know, because he's quite good." So I moved Dennis around, and then Dennis decided to come to Stonebridge, and he wanted me to coach him after about 6-7 months, because Dennis was actually coming there once a week anyway, doing a different class with Steve Palmer. So then me and Dennis have been together now for, well, it must be since maybe 2013. It's a long time.
Long time.
Yeah. So he's another one of my early ones.
One of the early ones. One of the latest ones.
Tillian. Yeah, they're homemade sticks, those ones.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, do they even have a name?
I just make those myself.
Fair play. And so it's a stable, guys. You'll know this fella here. Well, you know both of these fellas.
Yeah.
So it's a stable. It's not.
Kay's doing really well. Kay Prosper. I mean, he got sent to me about 2 years ago. He'd never actually won anything. He fought a guy called Keem Noble for a Southern Area belt, and it was a shock because he actually lost that fight on points. So he got sent to me through his manager, and he didn't know anything about me. Okay, he just said, I was told to come down here and do almost like a trial with you, because the manager said that you're a really good coach, and so we started working, and I think last year Kay won his first belt. He won the English title. So and he defended it in March this year as well. So he's next in line to challenge for the British title, which is being contested between Akeem Ennis Brown. I can never remember the other guy's name, but that fight's taking place in the next month or so. So Kay should be in line to challenge for that title next. So Kay's 35, so he's done really well.
Excellent. Okay, and I think at this stage,
you just passed Adrian Redmond on the right hand side. I'm in the corner with him.
Yeah.
He's another one that's been with me since about 2013. Had about 16 amateur fights. I think he's 5-0 at the moment, so he'll be looking to challenge for being an eliminator or challenge for a title soon. But yeah, Adrian's been with me for years. Good super middleweight. Very skillful, good guy. He helps me out at the gym as well. He helps me train the juniors. He runs the junior class sometimes helps out with the seniors. So, Adrian's been really hands-on. Great guy.
Excellent. So just kind of showing people who are new to you that it's not just Rome wasn't built in a day. That
was my trip. That was my trip to. I went to Vegas in 2016. I think I went to the Kovalev Andre Ward fight, the first fight. And I went to the Mayweather gym and met Roger. And luckily enough, I was only there for about 4 days. And when I met Floyd Senior. Honestly, I didn't even have words, man. I just said to him, I just asked him, and I just said to him, can I take a picture? And then I said to him, do you mind showing me a few things here and there, because I've been a fan of yours for a long time. And the guy he just said to me, he said, what do you want to know? And he just showed me a couple of things. I actually recorded it because he was working with another fighter at the time, and I was just so grateful. I was there the 3 days, but I went every single day. I was only supposed to really pass the gym once just to go, but I went the 3 days and I sat there. They've got a seating area so you can watch the guys train. And I think the one thing I took away from that gym was, again, my coach was just like, everything he spoke about was just right, man. He used to make me shadow box sometimes half an hour, 45 minutes. When I was at that gym, I saw a kid, and he was shadow boxing, nearly for an hour, but he was just going through routines, like walking himself to corners, getting himself out of it. Imagining there was a guy in front of him, really focus attention to detail. And I think the last day that I was there, I went back and the kid was sparring, and he was doing exactly what he was doing shadow boxing. These guys that train, a lot of boxers, they don't have the right mentality. They don't spend enough time doing the right things. You should spend a long time shadow boxing, because that's realistic. You're in the boxing ring. You should be going through different scenarios. Not just standing in front of somebody holding pads and not even moving. Like, that's not realistic to boxing. Make it real. Sometimes I make my guys like body spar half an hour. It conditions the body. I don't want to do head sparring all the time, because obviously that's wear and tear. So I'll say to them, 1 week I might say, right, we're doing body sparring, and it's tough. Half an hour out here. I mean, a couple of guys that are actually out here in Portugal, I made them do it for the first time, and they almost collapsed because they've never done it before. I said to them, well, this is conditioning. So much different aspects of training. You got in this game, you can't just leapfrog your way to the top. You've got to work and learn your craft. So I just laugh at people who just say, well, I only hear of him now. That's good for you. I've been in my gym training fighters or studying boxing for years. And I like to speak about the guys that didn't actually ever get a chance to even work at a high profile boxer. There is coaches in every single country, in many gyms around the world, that some of them are even better than the high profile coaches. They just never did get that break to work with a high profile coach. Doesn't mean they're not great. People get caught up in a world sometimes it's not reality. There's great coaches everywhere. I've met loads of good coaches. I mean, when I went to Detroit, some of the training techniques that I watched, it was amazing. But I asked the guys their names. Obviously, if I go and say their name, people have never heard of them before. It doesn't mean they're not good coaches. It's just ignorant. So You know,
Yeah.
learn the game.
Learn the game. Learn the game. Okay. So now I've been selfish. Now I'm gonna let people go to go to some of your questions. Thank you very much. If that's all good with you, Xavier, we're gonna go into the chat. Let some people get their questions in. Okay. So is this pre-recorded or live? That was asked earlier. It's now 15:40 p.m. Same time in Portugal, 15:40.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's 100. So, it's live. Next question. Next question. I don't even know if I should ask this question, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Okay, it's been it's posed. You answer it how you want to answer it, whatever. Does Xavier think Povetkin has been using PEDs?
I don't know how I'm supposed to answer that. I don't know what another man's doing.
Yeah.
And again, if I speak on it again, that will just be chatty patty.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't know. Yes, I think he's been caught for using pets, I think 3 times, hasn't he? So
Something
people read into that way however they like. I really don't. I don't like to discuss that because honestly, it's alarming. It's worrying because it's already a dangerous sport. The fact that somebody might be doing that is it's a little bit scary. Obviously, the Baby Miller story is a little bit different because he's blatantly using a lot of different substances to aid his performance. So that's alarming. But I've always said the same thing about amateur boxing and professional boxing. When they get one governing body governing everything, a lot of these things will stop. There's no governing body governing everything in boxing. And that's what needs to happen. If that happens, quite a few things would change. Until that does happen, all these different governing bodies can do as and what they please. And that's the reality of it. And if you're in it, you have to just deal with that. Otherwise, it's your choice to be involved in boxing. Like, no one's forcing anyone to be involved in boxing. It is what it is. So I just get on with it.
Yes. So that question was answered. Next question. God of War asks, what's Povetkin's biggest weakness? Without giving away too much of your strategy and your game plan.
Oh yeah, of course. I would never talk about a strategy. It's a hard one, isn't it? It's a difficult one to answer. He doesn't have any alarming weaknesses. He's always been in with good company. He's a former champion, former Olympian. I just think Dillian is more versatile. I'd put it that way. I think Dillian can do more. So that's the best way for me to answer that question.
That's a good way to answer that question. On weakness, he might. Brown Chisora knockdown. The Brown and Chisora were knockdowns of 2018. Okay. Okay, let's get to the next question. Scrolling down. Okay. Same question. Some people have asked the same question twice. What's going on? Okay. So in the WAC fight between round 2 and 3, Dillian seemed very angry. He refused to take the water. What was going on there?
Oh, funny. Have they not seen Dillian fight before? Dillian always looks angry. I think no. He wanted water. It's just that there was a distraction between the rounds. There was actually, I don't think the security didn't reach someone as quickly as they should, so they got a little bit too close to the ring. So there was a little bit of distraction for a second there, and it was just while Mark was giving Dillian water. That's all it was. It was there's nothing in it, nothing more than that.
Nothing more than that. Nothing crazy. The influence of Don Charles.
Yeah, good question. As I said in the previous interview, with training, I've never actually done any training with Don. Don has been like a mentor to me. He talks to me about the business side. he helped me make sensible decisions. I think at this level, I think everybody needs a little bit of help, a bit of guidance. Like I said, Don would just call me 2, 3, 4 days before a fight, big fights, Chisora, Frank Buglioni, and say, yeah, you're going to be in the corner. And before I could even respond, he'd say to me, don't question it, I'll just see you there. And then when I get to the gym, he used to say to me, you will see why later. And he goes, just come. So obviously over time, it's all made sense. It's just added to my story. So when people say, well, what big fights has he been involved in? Well, that box has been ticked. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why he did it. He said, as good as you are, the experience of being in big fights will serve you well. So just come with me. And obviously, Don obviously respects my opinion as well. We're in the corner working together. We always seem to give out the same. The message was always the same. It's always easy with Don, and I don't even talk to Don that much about boxing. But as two people, we just get on really, really well. The respect is there. As I said before, he's got a lot of time and respect for me. He said that he liked the way I coach fighters, and that's why he sent his son to me. And his son is, son's very good, George Fox, heavyweight. He's just actually finished working with Tyson Fury. He's part of the Tyson Fury camp for the rematch with Wilder. He was one of the heavyweights out there. He was there the whole camp. When you've got a boxer that goes out for the whole camp, that means that obviously you've done good work. I think Fury had kind words to say about him as well. So, this boxing heritage. There's links and connections everywhere, and if you look hard enough, you'll find mine.
6 degrees of separation. There's only 6 degrees of separation between everybody in the planet. And when you're in a small community like boxing, yes, that gets to like about 2 degrees of separation. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. Yeah, indeed.
So I'm gonna let me make sure I've got all the questions. I think I have. Have I? Okay, so there's one question here which I can answer on behalf of Xavier. You're training you got a whole bunch of people, and you've been training a whole bunch of people for a whole bunch of time. That's why I showed the Instagram stuff. Okay, so I think I've answered everybody's question. So now he actually asked a question. He said, "Am I training White and the whole team?" I think that was the question. Yeah. Are you training White?
Well, yeah. It's a good question. It's a good question because obviously the news broke out last week of I think Richard Reactor is no longer training with his old trainer. But the answer to that is no. I won't be training Dillian's whole team. I wouldn't have time. My focus is just on Dillian and on my boxing at iqboxing club. The only one I have taken on is John Harding Jr. And so I'll be getting him ready for a fight soon. But yeah, listen, there's loads of coaches in the world. I mean, I'm sure these guys will get comfortable with somebody else and continue with their career.
100%. And God of War also has a good question. Who's the best prospect? Who's the best prospect to you? Heavyweight prospect coming up right now that you see? Dubois. That's my Dubois. He's a beast. He's a beast.
Daniel Dubois
is a beast. I'm telling you now. Coming up, watch this space. But anyway, okay, we're coming to the close, coming close to the close. It's a sunny day. You've got things to do. I've got a bike ride to get into. That's the only thing I can do. The gyms are closed over here. That's the only thing I can do.
No, I actually got a text from my business partner. He said to me, I think in a couple of weeks' time the gyms are going to open up again. So
they are.
Not long now.
It's not long. And then when they do open up, it's going to be bedlam. It's going to be bedlam because everybody is going to be. I hope they got spacing. I hope they've taken out every other machine, so people have got space to work.
I'm hearing in my gym. Yes, the England boxing program can start again, but we're only going to be allowed to have 5 members in at a time. So it is going to be a filter system until things clear up, which I think is sensible.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want this second wave, this spike. You want to control it. I say the one good thing about Portugal, honestly, it's got the lowest death rate in Europe for COVID, and I've seen that because of how they've gone about their business. You know, they clamped down a lot of things very, very early. It was almost like a ghost town when I got here. I mean, even the training facility we're in now, we were the only people actually here because obviously it was actually closed to everybody. They couldn't actually rent rooms or let anybody use the facilities that are here. It's a fantastic facility. It's got everything. But for a good couple of months, almost felt like maybe 3 months, it was just us. It was just Dillian White's team.
Wow.
So, the government here, they're very sensible. I wish in the UK they'd reacted a little bit sooner. Maybe when we wouldn't have lost so many people. You know, that's the key. You know, when there's a problem, you know, you have to hit that problem early. Otherwise, you know, that's what can happen. So
that's what can happen. We're coming close up to the end. We've kept Xavier here for what 1 hour 25 minutes already. So we're coming up right to the end. I just got
honestly, I don't think I'll be doing an interview like this again. Honestly, this is it's been an absolute pleasure, honestly, because I just wouldn't get the time to do an interview this long. I couldn't see it happen again, especially anytime soon. So, you know, respect to you, Raph, honestly.
Oh, hey, respect to you. You took the call. You know, EJ, respect out to EJ. Props to EJ. He's the middleman. EJ's the middleman. Kind of the facilitator, the fixer. So much respect to you, much respect to EJ. And just a few quick questions before we let you go. And much appreciation. You heard it here first, folks. This kind of long form interview, you don't expect too many of these out of Xavier Miller. Very busy guy. I'm glad we managed to get him at this time. Okay, so much appreciation and respect to Xavier Miller. Okay, I'm going to just throw out some names now. Xavier.
Jay, come, Jay, come. 1 second, Raphie, because it's good timing. And the sparring partners have just come in. Just come in.
Excellente. So we're wrapping it up, but just a few quick questions before we do. And don't forget to mention your sponsors if I forget to ask you before we finish. Okay, so I'm going to throw out a few names now. Deontay Wilder. What? That's the name. Just word association. It's over to you.
Explosive.
Is he as good as some people say he is, and is he as bad as some people say? Some people say he's no good. He's no good. Never was. He's a bum. But he won a bronze. He won a bronze in the Olympics. So what's that all about?
How many people is he knocked out?
Like 40.
And how many fights has he had?
Like about 42.
Okay, well then, again, like, is it really luck, like landing on the chin that many times? Well, do you mean there's no element of skill in what he does? People, come on. Does he float around the ring? No. Does he have the footwork of, like, you know, some of the great fighters we've had? No. But he has power.
Yeah.
So we can't all be blessed with everything. He has power, and he's determined. I mean, he was taking a lot of heavy shots. Never looked to quit. Never looked to hide. He's a fighter, and I respect all fighters. You know, I'm not a boxer. I'm not a boxer that's going to be talking negatively about, you know, another boxer. I'm a coach, and a coach should respect fighters. And you know, he's a former world champion, so give him that respect he deserves. You know, I would love for Dillian to get a shot at him, but listen, it's life. We don't know what's going to be next. Where life's going to take you. Might be Wilder, might be Fury, might be Joshua. Who knows? But I would say respect to him. He's a former world champion, got a lot of heart, a lot of power, and he's done the best with what he's got.
Yes.
Can't do more than that.
You can't do more than that. You can't do more than that. One more question on Deontay Wilder. What do you think happens if don't tell me we've No, Xavier's still there. We just lost the picture. He's still there. We just lost the picture. I think he can still hear. Okay, we're good. So, what do you think happens if Wilder fights White? What do you think happens? Anything could happen, but what do you think happens? Xavier,
Yeah,
can
I've
you
got a
hear me?
problem with my headset. 1 second, Raphie.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No problem. No problemo. I'll just keep on talking until you hear me. Maybe your battery's going. Maybe your battery's going. I don't know. 1 2 1 2. Maybe your battery's gone. Maybe your battery's gone. But you still can't hear me. If you still can't hear me, maybe I'll just write a message in the chat. Okay. So it looks like we might have JD Boxing up in the building, Mr. Spooks up in the building, God of War up in the building, DJ Georgie Porgy up in the building, Vincent Grant up in the building. And yes. So that was Xavier Miller. Took time out of his day to come and talk to us. It was pretty much the end of the interview, but and it was a good one. It was a great one. It was a very enjoyable one. But I suspect he may be trying to get back in. So I'm not going to shut it off just now. Not going to shut it off just yet. I'll give Xavier a chance to get back in, but the guys are turning up for training. And where are we? Boom. I don't know if Xavier can hear me. I don't know if you're good. I don't know if you're good. Can you hear me? Okay. So we best not tarry. Your battery's cutting out or whatever. So you just give us your feelings on Tyson Fury. Just the thoughts that come to your mind. Quick, one time.
Skillful and funny sometimes.
Yes. And of course, Dillian White is relishing the opportunity to fight whoever the WBC champion is, whether it be Wilder or
bring on whichever one. Don't mind.
Whichever one, bring them in. Okay, last one. Anthony Joshua.
Determined.
What comes to mind?
Yeah, determined. Popular.
Popular. Got the sponsorships. Got the got the backing there. Okay, so Xavier, people are turning up for training. You got to crack on with that. I totally appreciate you coming over, spending time with us over here. I hope it's not the last time. This channel is open to you when you got fights coming up, when you got something to talk about, something to promote. We're in contact now. We've got each other's numbers. Just holler at me. We'll stay in contact, and hopefully we'll be talking again. And some of your fighters who need to talk, Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, let that be. It's always open to you. The door's always open to you. Thank you again. Yeah.
Just a quick shout out to my sponsors.
Yes.
To first of all my main sponsor, which is Tiger Bay, the Shisha Lounge. They're absolutely amazing. They just support me with anything that I need. My other main sponsor is Ealing Boards and Timber, in association with Tiger Bay. Bravos, which is a glove company. Great guys. Again, always looking after me. Anything I need, they'll send it out to me. And KMT Apparel, which is a clothing company. Kevin from KMT. As I said before, like these guys, most of my guys, they have to sell tickets. And these, either Tiger Bay or KMT, have actually volunteered to pay for my boxers' strength and conditioning sessions, or pay to get their fight kit done. They always contribute in some way, helping these guys on the small hall circuit. So, I'm always going to shout them out. because they've been with me at the beginning. You know, they also sponsor Tiger Bay also sponsors Youssef Kamari. They've been supporting Youssef since Youssef's pro debut.
Wow.
And they're supporting him now. So again, you see, I like my people to come up with me. So you know,
Yes.
big respect to all of them, and obviously I know, and again, big respect to everybody, anyone who's associated with iqboxing, because that's my family.
iqboxing, that's the name.
Oh yeah, EJ. Shout out to EJ.
EJ, shout out to EJ from me also. The middleman, the fixer. Much appreciated. And Xavier Miller, 100%. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Please don't forget to ask Dillian the question today, the Sonny Liston question. I need to know. We want to find out. Xavier Miller, it's been a total pleasure. 100% appreciation from us over here. We salute you and good luck. Godspeed in the future with everything you do. We're supporting you. We're rooting for you over here at Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. Much respect, much appreciation. Kick ass.
We will. Take care, man.
Take care, Xavier Miller. 100% appreciation. Xavier Miller came in and talked to us over here. Talk to us over here, the little people. Xavier Miller came over to the little people. Gonna talk to the big people, came over to the little people. Somebody write something in the chat. I think everybody's so spellbound by the interview. The people have gone quiet. They've just been listening. I could go on and on and on. Could have talked to Xavier for a lot longer, but you know, respect. The man's taken time out of his day. It was a great interview. We got everything that we wanted to get, and more. So much appreciation to Xavier Miller, Team IQ, London-based. Xavier's over there with White, Dillian White, over there in Portugal. Okay, so sun shining beautifully out there. You know, the Raphie's got to go out there and top up, get those sun rays. Got to get the sun rays on my back. Got to hit the bike. Got to hit the track. Hit the bike. Hit the track. And get stay. Keep the lungs going. Keep the heart going. You guys need Raphie around. To get these conversations going, talking to the people at the front, of the battle, whether they're there right now or whether they have been there in the past. You know, over here at Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, we like to talk to the frontline troops, the frontline troops and the generals alike. Raphie, you have insane work rate, bro. Absolutely insane. Maybe the Raphie is insane. Maybe the Raphie is insane for this Shiznix. Much appreciation, JD Boxing. His follower on Twitter. I follow him on Twitter. He follows me on Twitter. Much appreciation. Absolute much appreciation. And likewise, the God of War says, great interview, 100%. Big shout out, not just to Xavier Miller, but everybody who's taken the time out of their day to come and share it over here with Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. And the Viso is in the building. Vincent Grant in the building. Georgie Porgy, God of War, Mr. Spooks, the Fireman, Chase Athletics. And have I missed anybody? I don't want to miss anybody. Yeah, I think that's been the legend crew up here in the chat. Be sure to share the video. Be sure to share it on social media, all forms of social media. It has been Raphael Dawkins with Xavier Miller. And it's been a good one. It has been a great one. And right about now, you know, the Raphie's got to get out. I was up late last night covering, I was watching it. I was watching the UFC 251 the main event. But to be honest with you, I should have gone to bed because I woke up this afternoon horrified that I may have slept over and missed out, missed the interview time. I was horrified, woke up with a terrible shock. But alas, I was up on time and we got it done. So much appreciation to everybody who took time out to come and share it over here at Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. Much appreciation to Xavier Miller, and nothing but best wishes and blessings from us to them guys over there in Portugal. Looking forward to Dillian going out there taking care of Povetkin and then getting his long-awaited title shot. Who deserves it more? Who deserves a title shot more than Dillian White? You tell me. This has been. I might go live later on as well, but this is a standalone event. And I think it went very, very well. I am well pleased. I think you're well pleased. This is Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comments. It's the shares. And it is the hitting the bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. We do interviews over here every week. Every week I try to get an interview with a prominent person in the sport, either now or in the past. And I don't know if there's really anything left for me to say other than, where's the signal? Where's the emblem? Yeah, so definitely subscribe. Definitely like. And there's more. Check out the interview folders. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comment. It's the shares. And the only thing left for me to say is blessed.